Welcome back to Facts Repo. Before the iPhone, one brand ruled the world of mobile communication, a device so iconic it became a status symbol for the powerful and the ambitious. That brand was BlackBerry. It was more than just a phone, it was a tool for business, a gateway to constant connection, and a badge of honor for anyone who was anyone. So how did this undisputed king of the mobile world lose its crown, its kingdom, and its relevance in just a few short years? This isn't just a story about a company that failed, it's a profound business case study about corporate blindness, a stubborn refusal to see the future, and the brutal market dynamics that can turn a tech giant into a memory. Let's rewind to the early 2000s. In a world of clumsy flip phones with frustrating T9 texting, a Canadian company then named Research in Motion, or RIM, introduced something revolutionary. It was a device with a full QWERTY keyboard, allowing users to type out emails and messages with unprecedented speed and accuracy. This was the birth of the BlackBerry. It wasn't just a phone, it was a mobile office. Its most powerful feature was BlackBerry Messenger, or BBM, an exclusive, encrypted, and instantaneous messaging service that became the lifeblood of corporate communication. For business professionals, lawyers, politicians, and financiers, the BlackBerry wasn't a choice, it was a necessity. Its legendary security made it the go-to device for governments and large corporations. Owning a BlackBerry meant you were important, connected, and always in the loop. The device became so addictive that it earned the nickname Crackberry. People were constantly checking their emails and messages, their thumbs dancing across the tiny physical keys. The distinct scrolling sound of the trackball and the blinking red notification light were the ambient sounds of power and productivity. By the mid-2000s, BlackBerry was at its absolute zenith. It held a dominant share of the smartphone market and was a household name, synonymous with mobile productivity. The company seemed invincible, its fortress of corporate clients and loyal users impenetrable. But in 2007, a seismic shift occurred. Steve Jobs walked onto a stage and introduced the iPhone. It was a device unlike anything the world had ever seen. It had no physical keyboard, just a single, giant, beautiful touchscreen. The iPhone was a pocket-sized computer, a portal to the entire internet. It offered a rich, visual, and intuitive user experience that was fundamentally different from the text-based, utilitarian world of BlackBerry. It was designed not just for work, but for life. Initially, the executives at RIM were not worried. In fact, they were dismissive. They looked at the iPhone and saw its flaws. A virtual keyboard? Inefficient and prone to errors. A battery that couldn't last a full day of heavy use? Unacceptable for a serious business user. They believed the iPhone was a toy, a consumer gadget that could never compete in the serious world of enterprise where BlackBerry reigned supreme. They were convinced that their core users would never abandon the tactile feedback and efficiency of a physical keyboard for a smudge-prone piece of glass. This was BlackBerry's first and most critical mistake, a catastrophic failure to understand the fundamental shift that was happening. The market wasn't just about email and productivity anymore. It was about apps, media, and the entire mobile internet experience. While BlackBerry was focused on perfecting its email delivery, Apple was building a revolutionary ecosystem called the App Store. This platform unleashed the creativity of developers worldwide, flooding the iPhone with thousands of applications for games, social media, navigation, and everything in between. The iPhone wasn't just a device, it was a gateway to an ever-expanding universe of functionality. BlackBerry, on the other hand, had a clunky and limited app selection. Its operating system was designed for efficiency, not for the rich multimedia experiences that consumers were beginning to crave. As the iPhone's popularity exploded, BlackBerry's leadership remained in a state of denial. They doubled down on what they knew, convinced that their corporate security and beloved keyboard would be enough to weather the storm. They failed to grasp that the lines between personal and professional life were blurring. People wanted a single device that could handle their work emails and their weekend photos, their corporate spreadsheets and their favorite games. The iPhone offered that unified experience. BlackBerry offered a compromise. In an attempt to compete, BlackBerry eventually released its own touchscreen device, the BlackBerry Storm. But it was a disaster. Rushed to market, it was buggy, slow, and its unique clickable screen was universally panned by critics and consumers alike. The Storm was a perfect example of BlackBerry's flawed strategy. Instead of innovating and embracing the new paradigm, they tried to bolt a new interface onto their old way of thinking. They were reacting to the market instead of leading it. Meanwhile, another competitor emerged. Google's Android operating system offered a flexible, open-source alternative to Apple's closed ecosystem. It allowed dozens of manufacturers like Samsung, HTC, and Motorola to create a wide variety of phones at different price points, all offering a modern touchscreen experience. BlackBerry was now fighting a war on two fronts. It was being squeezed from the high-end by the aspirational and user-friendly iPhone, and from the low and mid-range by the sheer volume and variety of Android devices. Its market share began to plummet. The company's corporate structure also contributed to its downfall. It was led by two co-CEOs, a structure that often resulted in a lack of clear vision and slow decision-making. They were engineers who had built a brilliant product for a specific era, but they struggled to adapt when that era ended. They were blinded by their own success. They had created the market for the modern smartphone, and they simply couldn't believe that someone else could do it better. Their confidence had curdled into arrogance, and their focus had narrowed into tunnel vision. By the early 2010s, the writing was on the wall. Even BlackBerry's most loyal corporate clients began to abandon the platform. The bring-your-own-device trend saw employees bringing their personal iPhones and Androids to work, and IT departments had to adapt. The security advantage that was once BlackBerry's greatest strength became less of a differentiator as Apple and Google improved their own enterprise features. The final nail in the coffin was the decline of BBM. As users migrated to other platforms, they also moved to cross-platform messaging apps like WhatsApp. BBM, which was once the exclusive club everyone wanted to join, became an empty room. The network effect that had made it so powerful now worked in reverse, accelerating its decline. In a last-ditch effort, the company rebranded from RIM to BlackBerry and launched a completely new operating system, BlackBerry 10, along with new, modern touchscreen devices. But it was too little, too late. The world had moved on. The market had already consolidated around the two dominant ecosystems of iOS and Android. There was simply no room for a third player, especially one that arrived so late to the party. The new devices failed to sell, and the company's losses mounted. The fall of BlackBerry is a cautionary tale for the ages. It demonstrates that in the world of technology, no lead is safe and no king reigns forever. It shows that success can breed complacency and that a refusal to adapt is a death sentence. BlackBerry didn't lose because its products were bad. In its prime, its products were brilliant. It lost because it failed to see that the very definition of a good product had changed. They were selling the world's best horse-drawn carriage in the age of the automobile. The story serves as a stark reminder that innovation isn't a one-time event, it's a continuous process of listening, learning, and being willing to cannibalize your own success before a competitor does it for you. BlackBerry ruled the world, and then it vanished. A true titan of technology was reduced to a case study taught in business schools, a lesson in how quickly the mighty can fall when they stop looking at the future. Thank you for watching. If you found this analysis interesting, please consider subscribing to Facts Repo for more deep dives into the stories that shape our world. We'll see you in the next video.